Right, so on to our review of James Bond's No Time to Die. What were your thoughts then, going in, coming out of it?
Ooh, good question. Well, obviously it's Daniel Craig's last Bond, so I kind of hoped it'll go out on a high, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed him as Bond. He's had some highs and lows, obviously. Some have been better than others.
Yes.
I did my ranking lately, actually, and I definitely put Casino Royale top. That's definitely been the best for me. Skyfall was great. This one I'd also put up top. Spoilers. But you've had some lows. Spectre wasn't great. Quantum of Solace has been...
Solace.
Oh.
Quantum of Solace.
Solace? Oh, sorry. That's very posh.
Solace.
Quantum of Solace was very disappointing, right? So it's been a bit hit and miss for me. So, as I said, I kind of wanted to get on a high.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really thinking about it being his last one or anything. I mean, he's had last ones before, hasn't he? Because he's always said, like,
yeah.
I mean, not always said, but he's been like, this is the last one I'm doing, mate. Yeah. And then he's come back.
Money.
Money. It's his last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew it was going to be Rami Malek, who I really love as an actor, and Daniel Craig again. So that's pretty much all I knew going in. I hadn't really thought about it too much.
Yeah.
I didn't do too much research on it or anything. But yeah, coming out, wow, I really loved it. Felt like a love letter to all the Bond kind of franchise, really.
Yeah.
And there's lots of little nods in it to things from previous films and stuff. Great story, great ending. Felt timely, fitting.
Exactly, I was about to say that. How rude. A very fitting Bond song, really, wasn't it? And
yes.
Just very heartfelt and very much in the vein of all the other Bonds, really. They just wrapped it up so nicely. And
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, let's talk about some characters and performances then.
Okay,
Daniel Craig.
Yes.
He's James Bond, isn't he? Very much.
I think
a little bit older, perhaps, in this one. Like, intentionally trying to show him as a little bit of an older gentleman in this one, perhaps. Obviously, he was retired. He was coming back from retirement to kind of help out with a situation that's unfolding. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what else is there there? Daniel Craig, really.
He's definitely changed Bond a lot, I think. Yeah. Since becoming Bond. He's definitely been a much more scrappier, more action, more gritty Bond, I would say. In Casino Royale, when it first opened and he had his first kill, that was significantly different to any other sort of Bond I think we've ever seen.
Yeah, I would say that film probably did take the grittiness to
another
higher level, because it really did kind of tone back all that old school kind of little gadgets and things, and it really made it much more kind of real and gritty.
Well, it's interesting to see obviously different Bonds encapsulate different things. Roger Moore was obviously quite campy and fun and that kind of thing. Sean Connery was like about the gadgets and the suaveness and stuff. And
I would say in this they went a little bit more back in that direction, but in a good way. It didn't feel campy, but he had a couple of wise cracks.
Yes. Sort of dad jokes.
They brought back in some of the gadgets and things, which I really liked. So I felt like it was a better balance for me of Bond than Casino Royale. Yeah. Because I think they went too far in the other direction than that, maybe.
They went very much in the Ian Fleming sort of novel direction with that. He was much more sort of, not hardcore, but much more unlikable. And
that makes a lot of sense, yeah. Cool.
But yeah, no, I think he was fantastic. As you said, I think he sort of bridged the gap very well between sort of old and new Bond. He was much more sort of vulnerable as well, and that's why
a bit more likable.
Exactly. There was much more humanity to him, and he wasn't just a super spy. He could get hurt, and he had his heart broken, and you really related to it. And as you said, there was some great humour in there as well. And
so I don't know how you say her name is. Léa Seydoux as Madeleine.
So obviously she was introduced in Spectre.
Right.
Which I kind of forgotten about. I probably should have rewatched them beforehand. But she was definitely given a lot more things to do in this one, which is great. And their relationship felt much more earned and much more developed. And you did really root for both of them. Yeah. And I thought she was great.
Agree. Lashana Lynch.
Oh, I loved her. So good. Obviously, the new 007. She's very keen to please, isn't she? Obviously, one-ups him. she's like the new generation, right, of Bonds.
Yeah, I feel like she's trying to be a little bit difficult with him though.
For sure.
I'm here now. You have to deal with this.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really rise to that too much, which I like. He seems to warm to her quite quickly. And it feels like a nice way to pass the baton on for the designation 007, because it's like he seems to approve of it, which is what kind of allows you to approve of the switch, you know?
Yeah, but I loved her swagger as well.
Yeah, she
owned that role. She really did.
Good. Yeah, it feels good. Feels good. Anna de Armas as Paloma.
Oh, I loved her so much, but so criminally underused.
Yeah. I felt like they're setting her up for maybe a later one.
I hope so. I hope she gets like a spin-off or something. Yeah. She was so good, so likeable, so charming.
Yeah, funny and skilled and smart and everything.
High kicking all over the shop. Oh, I loved her. She was really fantastic.
Great. Really great. Mm-hmm. So we'll mention the MI6 crew. So you got Ralph Fiennes as M.
Yeah.
Ben Whishaw as Q.
Oh, Paddington.
Naomi Harris as Moneypenny.
Yes.
And Rory Kinnear as Tanner.
Yes.
So they're kind of like the core ones, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. What I really loved about these guys is they felt like an actual family, didn't they?
Yeah, they felt like friends. They felt like they'd known each other for a while, and they connected quite well with each other.
And obviously
they liked Bond as well.
Yeah, and he's obviously been retired for 5 years.
Okay.
He's been out of their lives for a while. They've moved on with a new 007. But as soon as he comes back, they're like, oh, go on then, I'll help you sort of thing. And it was really nice to see more of their actual home lives as well. Because obviously you went into Q's house, and that was nice to see a bit more of them and their dynamic. I really appreciated it.
Lots of little touches like that really helped you feel like it was completing the series, you know. Yeah. Which I liked, because it could have left a lot of stuff open and unexplored, but I felt like they really did.
They were just well developed, weren't they? Which is what I really appreciated.
For sure. All right, so the last one then, let's talk about the villain, shall we?
Ooh,
Rami Malek. I know this is the thing you have the most to say about, because I read your review, or you read it to me. So he played Lucifer Safin.
What a name. It says it all, really, doesn't it?
So I will say that I love Rami Malek as an actor. I think he's great.
Robot.
Mr. Robot,
great.
Brilliant. Mm-hmm. So go on then.
Okay.
Tell me.
Right.
Give it to me.
It's always difficult with Bond villains, isn't it? Because obviously you got your favourites, and it's very sort of personal thing, I think, with the franchise. Blofeld was, let's just say, a bit of a disappointment and a little bit predictable. Whereas this, I just felt like he was really aloof. He didn't get much development at all. He was just sort of like a very quiet, suspicious sort of villain, and there just wasn't enough character development or enough motivation there to really explain it. And I just thought Rami Malek is such a good actor, as you said, and he just felt very underused. But what obviously he had off the scene and runtime, he was very, very good and very sort of composed. And the one thing that really did irk me, and I know this is probably a Bond thing, but it's 2021 and villains still have like facial disfigurements and scars and things. It's like, guys, stop it.
I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I did feel like this film was trying to bridge the gap between old and new, and was trying to have some of that kind of classic Bond villain vibes, and that usually involves some sort of disfigurement or something.
Get a cat or something like that. Don't have the scar thing. Like in Casino Royale, they had the scar over the eye with Mads Mikkelsen's character. Just stop it. But sorry, that's my only real.
I guess my personal view on it is that if we end up banning all disability and disfigurement and everything from villains and stuff, then we're going to end up with some really boring villains.
But why is it always villains that have?
Yeah, I mean,
I know
you have it in
behind him.
You have it in the heroes as well.
Yeah, do that. They're not perfect people,
right?
You know, so yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I mean, for me, it just feels like a slippery slope. Like, imagine if we get to the point where villains can't murder people because some people are upset about it. Do you know what I mean? Like that wouldn't really work. So
okay, well, what did you think of the villain?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, he was felt a little bit quiet and underdeveloped maybe, but I think that was his character. And you can you can understand the going back to the disfigurement thing.
Yeah,
it kind of told you his backstory of they all got poisoned, right? Wasn't they? So it kind of it makes sense from that perspective. It wasn't just a random facial disfigurement. It had some backstory at least. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. Cool. Let's talk about the plot or the story or both.
Okay.
I mean, they bring in some kind of nanobots and some kind of interesting gene stuff going on, which felt a bit like kind of an old school Bond plot, which I liked.
It was very silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, but also not entirely unbelievable,
well,
I felt.
Yeah,
so
true,
it's kind of,
true.
Again, it was like that balancing act, and I think they did a good job there.
Yeah.
It felt big enough and crazy enough to be a Bond thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, could that happen? Maybe.
Is this a global threat? It could be.
Yeah. So I liked that. Yeah, and I think it did that much better than the other films in the Craig era to balance that line, which I've already kind of mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, all the gadgets and everything weren't too campy. I think it added something like fun without being too
on the nose,
on the nose and ridiculous,
or on the eye.
Like, I feel like in Casino Royale, the best gadget they had was he had a defibrillator, didn't he? That was like the gadget.
That was really lacking, wasn't it? Yeah.
So I like that this has brought it back the other direction a bit.
Maybe if they had a pen, just put a pen in there or something.
A watch, something.
Yeah. A watch.
In this one, yeah, a watch. I don't know if he did it in Casino.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so it ties up a lot of story threads, characters, organisations and stuff that we've met before.
Yes.
Which is quite nice. Just feels a bit more complete when you do that.
What I appreciated from this was, and I don't know whether it's happened before in any of the Bond tenures between the actors, they had a very sort of overarching plot throughout the films, didn't they? Which was quite nice, and it felt very full circle and very satisfying, I thought, which is what I appreciated.
Good word, satisfying. Yeah, I feel like you kind of left a few clues throughout the movie as well as to what might happen at the end, so it doesn't feel like such a crazy thing when it happens. Trying not to spoil too much. But the end feels like a real celebration of Bond, you know? It feels nice, it feels finished, complete. And
doff my hat to you.
I shall doff my hat to you, sir. Yeah, good stuff. Visuals and soundtrack and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
This is soundtrack and score and stuff, I guess you want to talk about. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, so Hans Zimmer. Hans! Everyone knows Hans Zimmer is such a legend. Sorry, I'm going to put that out there.
Sure.
He gives 110% to every single score he does, and this is no different. It's fantastic. I've been listening to it all day when it came out on the Friday. And obviously some personal highlights. There's some really great ones. There's like Cuba Chase, which is, it very much harks back to like Inception with the chase in Inception, which is great. High octane, good stuff. And yet there's also some really great sort of sweeping, really kind of romantic tracks that were fantastic. And there's some recognisable themes in there and flourishes that you might recognise from other Bond films that they kind of interweave, which is a really nice touch, I thought.
And you felt that was adding clues and stuff as well.
Yeah, when I first heard that, I was like, here we go.
Interesting.
So I'll be intrigued to see what everybody else feels about that. But yes, fantastic soundtrack.
I would need to listen to it.
You need to listen to at least Final Ascent. It's the last song, 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
Very good crescendo. I'm sure you'll be crying by the end of it.
I mean, it was great. I really enjoyed the soundtrack, and it was very epic. Yeah. And as we said, lots of nods to the older films. Very, very cool.
What did you think of the Billie Eilish song? Again, that's another big one, isn't it?
I think it's quite subdued and a little different to what you might expect. But it works in the context of the film, I think. So I enjoy it, and I like the way it kind of eased you into it as well. Like the whole visual, the whole intro thing, it happened quite gradually, and I don't know what I'm saying exactly, but it didn't just jump into the intro. It kind of...
Well, sometimes it can be quite jarring, can't it? Whereas this, it felt natural. And
felt natural.
Like a continuation of... Yeah.
Yes, which was nice. I thought it was good. What did you think of it?
I'm not sure. I feel like it's a grower.
Okay. Okay.
I think I need to listen to it a bit more. But I don't know. From the Craig era, you can't beat You Know My Name, right? I don't know. That's the pedestal for me, and this is a bit maudling, but it does definitely fit with the film. I can appreciate that. Yes.
I mean, some of them had to grow on me as well. Like, I remember not particularly liking the Sam, what's his name one?
Sam Smith.
Yeah.
Writings on the wall.
But I freaking love it. It's great.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
It's like, I definitely think they are growers.
Yeah.
And obviously Adele Skyfall was very good.
Very good.
But that could be quite a class of modelling, couldn't it?
Yes. Okay, visuals.
Oh, yes. What did you think?
I just stunning locations, sets, costumes, stunts. There's no expense or creativity spared, really, was it?
And I'm glad they went out on a high and went completely out for it, didn't they?
Went for it. Without it being too over the top or anything. It just looked great.
For sure. I mean, it was a very global location shoot, which is great.
Jumping around all over the place.
For sure. I mean, Jamaica looked fantastic.
Yeah. Into London.
Yeah, obviously. Norway. I know Scotland did a lot of. They filmed a lot in the Cairngorms. In the obviously Scottish Highlands, which doubled for a lot of Norway, and you can see that, and obviously the bridges and that what's it called, the North Atlantic Road, that was pretty iconic. I liked that chase, and some of the chases. We're going to talk about the opening one, right?
The opening chase. Okay, go for it.
With the bike, when they're in Italy. I forgot to mention Italy.
Italy.
But yeah, that's good for me. One of the most exhilarating chases I've ever seen. I don't know how they did it.
That jump up the stairs.
For sure. I literally went, is he going to be okay? That was just phenomenal, wasn't it? And then we had the obviously classic DB5 Aston Martin with the guns doing donuts and stuff. I was like, I've been waiting for this for so long. So good.
Yes. Okay.
And the gadgets, obviously, as well.
Go on then. Verdict. Come on.
Verdict. Sorry. I could talk about it for a while, couldn't I? I absolutely loved this. For me, there was, as I said, there were some slight niggles, so it's not a full 5 stars from me, I'm afraid, or 2 thumbs up. But it's very nearly perfect. Very nearly perfect. It's just a lovely culmination of good plotting and groundwork for such a great conclusion. It just felt, as I said, very satisfying, very heartfelt, and just lovely, really, wasn't it?
I would agree with all of that. Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I will definitely be seeing it again. 2 thumbs up for me. So yeah, if you enjoy the Craig movies, then this will be no exception, and maybe you'll prefer it even to some of them. So yeah, would recommend.
I think for me, I'm going to go out there and say it's possibly one of my favourite Bond films.
Yeah,
of all,
I might even say
actually
my favourite.
Oh,
although that might be recency bias, but
yeah, maybe. I'm just trying to think of any other. Goldmember is a good one. Obviously, that's quite a classic, isn't it?
Classic ones, sure.
But yeah, this has a good bit of new and old, and it marries it together so well.
A really nice way,
yeah.
Cool.
Would highly recommend.
Highly recommend.
It's been worth the wait.
Do it. I mean, everyone's probably seen it already, right?
Don't listen to us. Just go and watch it.